A growing number of Americans are asking a question that would have sounded crazy just a few years ago. What if the answer isn't getting a second job and working harder? What if the answer is leaving? Across social media, I'm seeing a lot of Americans that are moving to places like Portugal, Mexico, Thailand, and other countries where housing is cheaper, healthcare costs less, and everyday life is just more affordable. And it's not just retirees. I'm seeing young couples and families move overseas because they want a better future.
Last summer, my family and I moved from the United States to the Netherlands. There were a lot of reasons for this, but the main one being that we didn't feel like the United States was a safe or healthy place for our children to grow up. I haven't wanted to spend a lot of time talking about the politics of the United States, mostly because that's why I left. I left so that I didn't have to be a part of that conversation anymore. Alas, I still care, and my heart still hurts, and I have family and friends still in the US, so it is very much still a part of my life, though it does not affect me emotionally or give me the anxiety that it used to. Now that the United States has started another war in the Middle East, my DMs and emails are just full of people who are scared and really want to get out.
Last day in this house here. We are moving out today, January 31st. Finally, I can reveal my address. I don't care if anybody creepy people find it. Fitted RV in there, 2-car garage, 3 bedrooms. New year, new house coming in Europe. So I was paying $2,700 for this, and the next video I'm gonna show a comparison to what I'm getting in Europe for $1,500. It's been a pleasure. Goodbye, Idaho.
So I just sold all my belongings, ended my lease, and now I plan on leaving the United States for good. I've experienced enough here, and I see where America is heading, and yeah, I'm gonna get out. I just came back from like a 4-month trip backpacking in Europe, and I think that was probably the happiest I've ever been. That's where all my friends are now. I feel like I fit in there much better, and someone screaming outside. So the plan is to live in the van for a few months or so to save up enough money, because when I go to Europe, I want to get like a long-term visa, and then that will be my pathway to citizenship. And I'm thinking maybe the Netherlands, but in order to do that, I need to save up like 15K, 20K to be safe. And that's the plan. So I'm gonna figure out how to make some money, but this is the new chapter. I'm never gonna rent an apartment or anything in the United States ever again. I don't even know why I got this place. I was like, oh, let me try to be, a homebody and like be a normal person with like a studio apartment and pay rent and bills, and I hated it. It was not for me. But yeah, the next era is escaping the United States.
If y'all needed any more reasoning as to why I'm leaving the country, take a look at this absolute abomination of city planning. Unfortunately, this is how most of America looks outside of big cities. This is not a country anymore, but a functional economic zone that you are meant to contribute to until your life ends. And maybe if you're lucky, every year or two, you can take a vacation to actually live for once somewhere else in the world.
My husband and I finally made the difficult decision to leave the United States. It was not an easy decision, and it came from a lot of conversations. But we finally realized we're fighting to stay somewhere that not only is he unwanted, but we're fighting to stay in a place that's just falling apart more and more each day and becoming an unrecognizable place. My husband came here to study English and to be part of everything the United States had to offer, which was a better life, the irony. Let me tell you a few things that I'm also forfeiting as a U.S. citizen that our country fights so hard to protect their interest. I am now forced to go live in another country just to preserve my marriage. This comes with leaving my family behind, leaving my law license behind that took me years and years to get. I'm not licensed, obviously, in another country, so I have to find an entirely new profession and start over entirely. Being a disabled veteran, someone who broke their back and both of their hips in the military, I am now forced to forfeit my personalized care plan that I have worked the last decade to develop with my physicians. I have medications that I take on a daily basis, and the VA does not ship them out of the country. This also just means that our kids will not really have a relationship with my family. How did we get to a place where like the destruction, the waterfall of destruction is just so normalized? I've got to find a new job in a country where I need to learn how to speak the fluent language and uproot everything I know just because I fell in love with an immigrant. Is America great? I have yet to see it.
I've been hearing that the new American dream is to leave America, sell all your stuff, and move to Thailand or live abroad in Europe. Well, that's what I did, and I want to tell you exactly how I did it. So a couple years ago, I was working remotely for a United States company. It was based in New York City. I was working 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., just like everyone else, stuck in the rat race. I was so fed up with the high cost of rent and food, and what little money I had left over, I just wanted to spend on a plane ticket and just start traveling. Well, winter was coming, and I felt so stuck. I decided I'm going to take my work laptop, install a VPN on it so they think I'm in New York City still. I'm not going to tell them, and I'm just going to go somewhere where it's sunny and cheap and warm. And I went to Thailand. Well, I did this for a while. And remember, I was working 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. East Coast time. So in Thailand, I was working 12-hour difference. I was working 9 p.m. till 6 a.m., sometimes 7 a.m. all night. And it was exhausting. And all of a sudden, this dream life of being a digital nomad and working while I was traveling really was not the reality that I was expecting it to be. Well, what ended up happening was there was a great change in my life right before the holidays. I get a message from my boss. My boss says, "Hey, can you hop on a quick Zoom call before you leave for the day?" Remember, they thought it was 6 p.m. I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So we hop on a Zoom call. They see me and they go, "Brandon, you're so tan." And I lied, and I remember saying that I was going to the tanning beds at Planet Fitness, but I wasn't. Well, during the conversation, the can of worms opened up. My boss said, "It's a little awkward, Brandon, but the IT team said that they located your laptop, your work laptop, just south of Bangkok." And I said, "Well, this is awkward because I am south of Bangkok." Well, they realized I was working all night, and they said, "Well, this is a bit of a problem because you've got a contract that says you have to work in the United States." I did not understand that because I was never late. And they ended up giving me a ultimatum. They said, "Well, listen, you can either travel over the holidays and get back to the United States and work, or you're fired." And I remember looking at that screen, and it took me less than 2 seconds to come back with, "Well, then I quit." It was a scary decision, quitting. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have a backup option, but it was the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me because I was positioned in a cheap country. My cost of living was dirt cheap, $300 a month for rent. I was living in luxury, pools, gym, right at the beach. And I had the knowledge, which is the most important part of this story, that people existed today that really were making money over the internet. Great money. Passively. I'd always heard that. Earn passive income, earn passive income. I knew people did it. And I had time now. So I ended up going down the rabbit hole. And I ended up identifying how internet people make money. Passively. The answer was they were all selling digital products, 100% profit. And then you set up the machine so that it's automatically delivered. You set up the machine so that you create a faceless brand that gets that customer interested, gets them to the link in the bio, gets them to the sales funnel, gets them the product, passive income. And I started working on building this business. And then my friends in the United States stopped asking how I was and started asking where I was. Because I started earning a passive income from anywhere in the world, and I started traveling full time. Right now, I am in Portugal. It's beautiful here. I split my year into quarters. I'll be spending the winter back in Thailand. And I just want to tell you that it's possible.
There are two types of societies in this world: the individualistic society and the community-based society. The US is an example of an extremely individualistic society where you are taught that you are unique, you are special, you are the best, you deserve things just because you exist. The sense of community is almost non-existent. You probably don't even know your neighbors, or maybe you know them but only on the surface. And your life is based between your work and home. And almost all entertainment you get is inside your home. Countries like this are the US, Canada, more or less UK and North Europe, and probably Australia. The rest of the world is the community-based society. Now, why is this important? If you are moving to any of the countries in the rest of the world, like Mexico, Colombia, Costa Rica, Brazil, Portugal, Spain, the whole East Europe, and you bring your individualistic mentality with you, be ready to be disliked by people who live there. People will think that you are arrogant, that you're selfish, entitled, and sooner or later, you will start feeling consequences of that. However, if you put just a little bit of an effort to become part of the community, people will recognize that and they will appreciate it. And you will discover the whole new world of opportunities. People will welcome you. They will help you when you're in need. They will be inviting you to their celebrations and parties. And you will discover that you are a part of something much bigger. You will feel stronger, more protected, something that you probably never felt in the US.
Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you know somebody that's moved out of the country? Or maybe you yourself have thought about moving out? I completely get all these people's complaints, the whole like not having a sense of community here, basically just working 2-3 jobs to pay bills, or just working and like having no work-life balance. I can sympathize with all of that. Me and my wife have honestly been talking about moving back to our country in Bosnia, in Eastern Europe, with our 2 children. Kind of just started off as talking about it, and then in the last year we've really talked about it more, looked into details like what we're going to do for income, even as far as like the kids schooling, how could they finish online, what are the options in person, and so forth. So we're really diving into it and maybe leaving as soon as the next 2 years. I mean, everyone has their own opinions and you do what works for you, but I think, and my wife thinks, that this will be the best for our family. And there's a lot of things I could get into. I'm not going to make this a super long video, but it's everything. Like in Bosnia, people will just come over, knock on the door, hey, get some coffee going, and people will just come over like that. Whereas here, I have to like, with my friends, like, okay, yeah, the 17th at 3 p.m., does that work? No, the 17th, we could do the 22nd. You know what I mean? It's like this big deal just to get together with friends, because everyone is so busy, everyone is so overworked, everyone is hustling, grinding, paying these bills, stuck in the rat race, if you will. And then when I do visit Bosnia, I see what a difference it is. Like, people might not have as much money, but they definitely don't work as much as we do over here. And the quality of life is just so much better. Like, I'm scared for my kids to grow up here and like, how are they going to afford houses nowadays? How are they going to get by with the cost of living? What kind of jobs are they going to have? Will there even be jobs with all this AI and stuff coming out? Like, but yeah, for me, it just comes down to like sense of community, family, raising my kids right, them having the freedom to just go outside and play and me not have to worry about something crazy happening to them, the cost of living, quality of life. I can go on and on. There's just so many things that me and my wife considered, and in the end, we're like, why not? I mean, if worse comes to worse and we completely fail and all our plans crumble, I'll come back and work for the summer. Who cares? You guys stay here, chill. I'll come back 3 months a year, make some money, and go back. And we still haven't like 100% fully decided, but like I said, we're really looking into all our options and paths on how we can do this. But anyway, share your thoughts and opinions down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.